Ready to take your SharePoint design into 2025? This video will show you how. I've got 20 SharePoint design tips to help your pages truly stand out. For some of the examples here, I'll use Origami Web Parts. So if you already have Origami, you've got access to these designs right away. Let's start with our tip number 1. Tip number 1. Use SharePoint communication site templates for your sites. If you are starting fresh with your new SharePoint site, pick a communication site template instead of team site. Why? Communication sites use layouts that adjust beautifully to all screen sizes, especially larger ones. For example, see how this team site has this clunky left-hand navigation getting in the way, and the right side of the screen is just empty wasted space? Now, if we use the same screen resolution and open a communication site, it looks so much better. It makes full use of your screen space and gives your site a clean and polished look. This is possible because communication sites offer more options for full-width web parts, which brings me to our tip number 2. Use full-width banners. Now that we've got more design options, let's put them to good use. We can add full-width banners to pack in more useful info like quick links, announcements, and feeds. The page instantly grabs attention and feels sleek and modern. And guess what? There's still room to get creative. Tip number 3. Use top banners with quick links and announcements. Imagine landing on a page and instantly seeing 80% of what you need, and you don't need to scroll. A full-width banner with quick links and announcements can make that happen. You'd have links to your favorite apps and updates from different departments all in a single spot. Plus, the banner even greets you by name. How cool is that? But what if there is no single web part that could fit everything you need? That's when the next tip comes in. Tip number 4. Use vertical sections. Adding a 4th column to your page is perfect when you need extra space. Watch this. You can add the vertical section below your banner and then drag and drop any web part, like this document finder here. It fits seamlessly and looks great. Now that we've unlocked more space on the page, let's dive into our tip number 5. Make your SharePoint look like a website. When was the last time you opened a SharePoint site and thought, wow, this is impressive? Did I hear someone say never? That's okay, because we're here to change that. And here's a little secret. The best SharePoint sites don't try to be more like SharePoint. They try to be more like websites that many of us love using. And with the tips coming up next, you'll be able to create a site that does exactly that. Tip number 6, use branded bold navigation. Clean, easy-to-spot navigation is still the #1 way people find their way around the site. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Take a look at this example, which uses Origami navigation and lets me choose colors for the background and links, making the site look on brand. To make it pop even more, I can increase the font and logo size. What a game changer! Navigation is just a start. But how do you truly grab your visitors' attention? Let's find out. Tip number 7, use background images. Page backgrounds are making a big comeback in 2025. With background images, you can sprinkle more of your company's colors across your pages and highlight different sections. My favorite trick? Using section backgrounds to create eye-catching top banners, like this one. And the best part, it's all built right into your SharePoint. You can choose from stock photos or upload your own. Backgrounds are great, but if they're the only thing on the page, they can feel like a distraction. And this brings me to the tip number 8. Make your site banner actionable with quick links. Ever notice how many websites grab your attention with a bold banner image? You can do the same and take it a step further by adding actionable links and buttons to your banner for easy access to key company resources. Watch this. I'm using Origami Quick Links web part to overlay buttons right over the top banner. Instantly, the look of the page is elevated and you've freed up extra space below for more useful web parts. You know what else we can do? Use quick links with custom icons and shapes. You know what makes quick links even more recognizable? Branded icons. Why? Because recognizable logos make it so much easier to spot the tools you need. Check this out. Here's a set of plain quick links that already look great. But now, look at them with custom icons. The logos make everything instantly familiar. I don't even need to read the label. I can recognize Workday right away. Got too many links? No problem. This quick links web part from Origami will let you tweak the button shapes and sizes for a cleaner look. Tip number 10. Use company colors and fonts. Your SharePoint is a communication tool much like a website. Using company colors and fonts will help your SharePoint stay on brand, especially for highly visible elements like navigation, headings, and banners. And if you're using Origami, you can set virtually any color to any of the web part elements. And with all this amazing design, let's not forget to make everything look good on mobile. So tip number 11 is to make your SharePoint mobile friendly. The SharePoint mobile app lets employees access your site on their phones, so your pages need to shine on mobile too. Take a look at this page on desktop and on the mobile. It adjusts perfectly, displaying content in a single column to fit the screen. It's all about adapting to different resolutions. Just make sure the web parts and images you use look as great on mobile as they do on larger screens. Speaking of larger screens, how do I make the most of the space they have? Tip number 12, use tabs. Modern sites know exactly how to use the space on the screen by organizing content efficiently. For example, I've sorted my resources into tabs like Business Resources, Employee Center, and Company and News. Now, instead of scrolling through the clutter page, employees can simply click a tab and instantly find what they need. Tip number 13, use collapsible sections. For text-heavy pages like guides or policies, collapsible sections are a game changer. Take a look. Employees can expand just the section they need, keeping everything clean and easy to navigate. Use them to break up long text into bite-sized, readable pieces. It's so much better. Another way to showcase long content comes down to tip number 14. Use videos for top announcements and messages from executives. Videos can instantly bring your pages to life. Check out this interactive video banner that shimmers as the page loads. It makes the page look eye-catching and dynamic. Even a simple video with a play button makes an impact. The video can come from SharePoint or your social media channel to save time. Want another way to make your site even more interactive? Use web parts that allow employees to interact with their colleagues. It's easier than you might think. For example, the news web part in Origami lets people leave comments or likes on news posts. Some companies even create spaces where employees can post kudos and shoutouts, sending notifications that bring more people to the site. And if you prefer to keep things strictly professional, you can repurpose this feature as a bulletin board where employees can submit ideas and feedback. Interactive components will draw more people to the site. But to keep them coming back, your site also needs to be useful. And that starts with making things like events and calendars easy to find. So my tip number 16, roll up calendars and events. Imagine having a calendar that pulls together holidays, company events, and team meetings into one single view. Instead of making site visitors click through multiple pages to find what they need, everything is right there in one place. You don't even need to change your site structure for this. Here's an example using Origami Calendar web part. It combines multiple calendars into a single view. You can even color code event categories and let users filter events without leaving the page. Brilliant, right? Now let's talk about documents. Tip number 17, roll up forms, templates, and more. Are you struggling to find the right form or template in SharePoint Search? Why not roll up frequently accessed forms and templates into a single place on the page? You can use a standard document library view for this, or take it up a notch with Origami Finder Web Part. It searches across multiple document libraries and only shows results from those libraries. No more random search results. And check this out. I can even hover on a result to preview it and make sure it's what I need. Better search? Check. Now let's tackle news and announcements scattered across SharePoint. Tip number 18, roll up news. The beauty of SharePoint is its simplicity. Department owners can easily create their own content, but the downside, that content often gets siloed on their department sites. A better way is to roll up those department announcements and alerts into a central view so employees can see everything without wandering into unknown. The SharePoint News web part is a great starting point for pulling news from different sites into one place. For more control, here I use Origami News Center web part. This web part lets me categorize news and set how many items to display at once. Rolling up content from multiple places in SharePoint is super helpful if your SharePoint homepage is the main company page everyone uses. But what if employees use Microsoft Teams as their main app? That's where the next tip comes in. Tip number 19, add SharePoint pages to your Microsoft Teams. Imagine you're in your department's team channel. Not only can you see the chat, but you can also have your department's SharePoint page right there as a tab. This setup lets employees access news, events, and documents directly from your teams. No extra clicks or switching between the apps. Look at this beautiful page showing right in Teams. All it took is adding your SharePoint site as a tab in your Teams channel, and you're good to go. Speaking about saving time, get ready because the next tip is the boss. Tip number 20, save time, use ready-to-go templates. Creating your first SharePoint page can take some time to get just right, but here's the trick. Once it's perfect, save it as a template. This makes adding new pages in the future a breeze. It's so simple. To save a page as a template, simply create a new SharePoint page and before publishing it, select Save as a Template. Your template will then appear in Templates pane ready to use across your site. In Origami, we've even pre-created popular page samples for HR, onboarding, learning and development, and various team home pages. You can literally copy and paste the whole page. These templates also come with enhanced web parts on top of what's offered in vanilla SharePoint. We even added a page copy tool to Origami so you can copy pages from one site to another in literally less than a minute. And there you have it, 20 tips for a killer SharePoint site in 2025. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.